Captain Josephine Park stood at the viewport of the UNHS Mercy's Promise, watching distant stars streak by as the massive hospital ship cruised through deep space. Her salt and pepper hair was pulled back in a neat bun, uniform crisp despite the long hours of their mission. The ship's white hull gleamed in the starlight, its Red Cross emblem a beacon of hope recognized across the galaxy. "Status report, Lieutenant Rahman?" she asked, turning to her operations officer. "We're 6 hours from the Centauri colonies, Captain," Rashid Rahman replied, his dark eyes focused on the holographic display. "All medical bays report ready for incoming casualties. Dr. Nikolai has tripled our burn treatment capacity after reviewing the latest reports." Park nodded grimly. The war between the Centauri colonists and the Aldebaran Confederation had devastated several outer worlds. The Mercy's Promise carried 400 medical personnel and enough supplies to treat thousands. Earth maintained strict neutrality, sending only humanitarian aid to both sides. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief medical officer, entered the bridge. Her cybernetic eye whirred softly as it adjusted to the lighting. "Captain, we've finished converting Cargo Bay 3 into an additional trauma center. Whatever we find at the colonies will be ready." Before Park could respond, the tactical officer, James O'Connor, straightened in his chair. "Captain, 3 vessels just dropped out of hyperspace. Configuration unknown. Broadcast our medical status," Park ordered. "All channels, all languages." The bridge crew waited tensely as O'Connor worked his console. "No response, Captain." They're charging weapons." "Impossible," Park breathed. "We're clearly marked. Lieutenant Rahman, get me emergency channels." The first blast hit before Rahman could reply. The Mercy's Promise shuddered violently, alarms blaring throughout the massive vessel. "Direct hit to Medical Bay 2. O'Connor shouted. "They're targeting our patient areas." Park grabbed her console as another explosion rocked the ship. "Get our people to the escape pods. All non-essential personnel evacuate." She looked at the tactical display in horror as the unknown ships methodically targeted the hospital ship's medical facilities. Dr. Tanaka's voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, they hit the trauma center. We have multiple casualties." "Wait, something's wrong with the escape pods in this section." The bridge erupted in chaos as more hits landed. Through the smoke and sparks, Park heard an alien voice cut through their communications. "Let the humans learn that mercy has no place among the stars. Get that transmission locked," Park ordered, coughing as acrid smoke filled the bridge. "Earth needs to know who did this." The Mercy's Promise's hull groaned as another volley struck. Support beams crashed down, and Park saw O'Connor thrown from his station in a shower of sparks. She fought her way to the young officer's side, checking his pulse. "Nothing. All hands, abandon ship," she commanded, helping Rahman drag O'Connor's body toward the bridge escape pods. "Save who you can." Dr. Tanaka's voice came through once more. "Captain, I've got 12 critical patients. We're cut off from the escape pods." "I'm sorry, we're not going to make it." "Yuki." Park started, but the communication cut off as another blast tore through the ship. Park and Rahman reached the escape pod with O'Connor's body. As they secured themselves, Park looked out the small viewport. The Mercy's Promise, Earth's finest hospital ship, was breaking apart. Its white hull now scarred black, Red Cross emblem still visible through the destruction. The attacking ships continued their methodical demolition, ensuring nothing substantial would survive. As their pod launched into space, Park watched her ship die. Debris and other escape pods scattered across the void, but she could tell most hadn't made it out. 400 of Earth's finest doctors, nurses, and medical staff, along with all their patients, gone in an act of senseless violence. The pod's communication system crackled. "This is the cargo freighter Star Wanderer. We've picked up your distress signal and are moving to recover survivors." Park closed her eyes, tears floating in the zero gravity. "Thank you, Star Wanderer. Please hurry. And make sure Earth knows what happened here. They need to know." As rescue ships approached from nearby systems, the attackers vanished into hyperspace, leaving destruction in their wake. They believed they had taught humanity a lesson about weakness. Instead, they had awakened something that had slumbered for generations. In the escape pod, Captain Park clutched a data crystal containing the attacker's transmission. Soon, Earth would learn of this atrocity. Soon, those responsible would learn that humanity's mercy was not a weakness, but a choice. And they had just forced humanity to make a different choice entirely. General Diana Martinez stood before the curved window of her underground office, 40 stories beneath the Mariana Trench. Behind her, 20 members of Earth's Shadow Council sat in tense silence as they watched the footage from the Mercy's Promise attack for the fourth time. The holographic display showed the hospital ship's final moments from multiple angles, ending with Captain Park's escape pod transmission. Martinez's weathered face remained stoic, but her hands, clasped behind her back, tightened until her knuckles went white. Quantum analysis confirms their Verati ships, reported Colonel Wei Zhang, head of intelligence. His augmented eyes glowed softly as he projected additional data. They've been systematically eliminating medical vessels from smaller civilizations for the past 3 years. We believed they would avoid Earth vessels, but clearly, they've grown bolder. Dr. Rashid Rahman, one of only 38 survivors of the Mercy's Promise, sat in a hoverchair at the center of the room. His legs were still healing from severe plasma burns. They knew exactly what they were doing, he said, his voice steady despite the trauma evident in his eyes. They disabled our escape pods first, targeted medical bays specifically. This wasn't a random attack, it was a message. Martinez finally turned from the window. The light from the deep-sea bioluminescent creatures cast strange shadows across her face. Then it's time we send our own message. She pressed a sequence on her neural interface, and the room's holographic display transformed into a three-dimensional map of Earth's hidden military assets. Project Guardian Angel has been in development for 150 years, Martinez explained. While the galaxy saw us focus on medical technology and humanitarian aid, we were preparing for exactly this scenario. The map expanded, showing massive underground facilities on every continent. Beneath the Antarctic ice, below the Sahara's sands, in the depths of Earth's oceans, secret shipyards and weapons facilities appeared one by one. By the stars, breathed Council member Hiroaki Tanaka, father of Dr. Yuki Tanaka who had died on the Mercy's Promise. How did we keep this hidden for so long? Colonel Zhang smiled grimly. The same way we've hidden our true technological capabilities. The galaxy sees what we want them to see. Our public ships use basic antimatter drives while our real fleet. He gestured, and the hologram shifted to show sleek, dangerous-looking vessels unlike anything Earth had revealed before. The Guardian Fleet, Martinez continued. 50 warships equipped with quantum phase technology, gravitational weaponry, and defensive systems centuries beyond what we've shared with our allies. Each vessel carries enough firepower to level a continent, but also possesses the precision to disable a single room without harming adjacent areas. Rahman leaned forward in his chair. You're saying we could have saved the Mercy's Promise? We had this power all along. We had to maintain the illusion of technological parity. Council member Adebayo explained softly. The moment we revealed our true capabilities, the galaxy would have united against us in fear. We needed to be seen as helpful, but not threatening. And now, Rahman demanded. Martinez's expression hardened. Now we show the Verati and anyone else who mistakes compassion for weakness exactly what humanity is capable of. She activated another display, showing massive doors opening in the ocean floor. The Guardian Fleet has been on standby for generations. Every ship is crewed and ready. We just needed the Council's authorization. One by one, the Council members activated their voting interfaces. The result was unanimous. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a cavern large enough to hold a small city, Commander Dante Russo walked through the corridors of the UES Nemesis. At nearly 2 kilometers long, it was the flagship of humanity's hidden fleet. Its quantum phase drive could cross the galaxy in days, its gravitational weapons could tear planets apart, and its defensive systems could shrug off anything the Virati could deploy. All systems ready, Commander, reported as XO, Lieutenant Commander Indira Patel. The crew is at battle stations. We're just waiting for the signal. Russo nodded, taking his place on the bridge. Around him, crew members worked at stations that looked more advanced than anything in public use. Many of them had lived their entire lives in these secret facilities, training for a day they hoped would never come. Signal from General Martinez, Patel announced. Operation Righteous Response is authorized. All ships prepare for surface breach. Throughout Earth's oceans, massive doors began to open. In Antarctica, huge sections of ice shifted aside. In the Sahara, sand cascaded into hidden chambers as launch bays were revealed. Humanity's hidden talents were finally emerging. On the Nemesis's bridge, Russo gave the order they had rehearsed for years. All hands, this is the commander. The Guardian fleet launches in 5 minutes. Today we show the galaxy that Earth's mercy was never about weakness. It was about choice. And now we choose to show our strength. In orbit, civilian satellites detected multiple massive energy signatures emerging from Earth's surface. The Virati would soon learn that they hadn't attacked a defenseless humanitarian species. They had awakened a sleeping giant that had spent generations preparing for this exact moment. As the Guardian fleet rose from its hidden bases, Ramon watched from the Shadow Council chamber. For the Mercy's promise, he whispered. For all those who died showing compassion. Martinez stood beside him. The Virati wanted to teach us a lesson about mercy, she said. Instead, we're going to teach them one about justice. Commander Dante Russo stood in the quantum chamber of the UES Nemesis, watching as space itself seemed to fold around his ship. The massive vessel, along with 5 others from the Guardian fleet, had been tasked with humanity's first strike against the Virati Empire. Their target, the militarized outpost on Proxima 7, a forward operating base the Virati used to launch attacks on medical ships. Quantum phase transition complete in 3 minutes, Lieutenant Commander Patel reported from her station. The chamber's crystalline walls pulsed with energy that bent both light and space-time. All weapon systems are primed and ready. Russo nodded, his augmented eyes scanning tactical displays that floated in the air around him. Status of the Virati defense grid? They have no idea we're coming, reported Lieutenant Jun Sato, his fingers dancing over holographic controls. Their sensors can't detect ships in quantum phase. We'll emerge right inside their defensive perimeter. The plan was precise, a demonstration of both power and restraint. Earth could have simply obliterated the base from orbit, but that wasn't the message they wanted to send. Quantum phase transition in 60 seconds, Patel announced. All crews to battle stations. Russo activated the ship-wide comm. This is the commander. Remember our objectives. Minimal casualties, maximum impact. Show them our strength lies not in how much we can destroy, but in how precisely we can act. The quantum chamber's crystals flared brilliant blue as space normalized around them. The Nemesis and its escort ships materialized inside Proxima Vi's atmosphere, their black hulls absorbing light, making them appear as holes in reality itself. Multiple Virati signatures detecting us, Sato reported calmly. They're scrambling fighters, and appearing quite confused about how we got past their outer defenses. Open a channel, Russo ordered. The main display showed the Virati base commander, a tall, reptilian being with iridescent scales and multiple cybernetic enhancements. Impossible, he snarled through the translator. How dare you violate Virati space? We will. This is Commander Russo of the Earth Guardian Fleet, Russo interrupted. You have 1 hour to evacuate all personnel from your facility. Anyone remaining after that time will be taken into custody. This is not a negotiation. The Virati commander's scales rippled with anger. You think we fear human ships? We destroyed your hospital vessel. We will. Russo cut the transmission with a gesture. Lieutenant Sato, disable their communication array. Surgical strike only. A brief pulse of gravitational energy lanced from the Nemesis. The base's massive communication tower crumpled in on itself, crushed by focused gravitational forces that affected nothing else around it. Their defense grid is activating, Patel reported. Multiple weapon systems targeting us. Neutralize them. Non-lethal protocols. The escort ships moved with perfect coordination, firing precise gravitational pulses that crushed weapon emplacements without damaging the surrounding structures. Varadi fighters launched from hidden hangars, only to find themselves caught in localized gravity fields that gently but firmly pulled them back to their landing pads. Inside the base, Varadi commanders watched in growing horror as their most advanced weapons and defenses were systematically disabled by technology they couldn't even understand. Their sensors showed impossible readings from the human ships, energy signatures that shouldn't exist, weapons that bent the fabric of space itself. 50 minutes remaining, Russo announced on all frequencies. We are detecting 812 life signs in your facility. Transport ships have been provided for those without personal vehicles. I suggest you use them. In the Nemesis's tactical center, Lieutenant Kira Novak monitored the evacuation. They're moving, sir. First transport ships are already launching. Maintain gravity control on their fighters, Russo ordered. But allow all unarmed vessels free passage. The evacuation proceeded with mechanical precision. Earth ships maintained their positions, a silent but overwhelming presence that brooked no resistance. Some Varadi officers attempted to delete data or destroy equipment before leaving, only to find precise gravitational fields freezing them in place until they reconsidered. With 5 minutes remaining, the last transport lifted off. The base stood empty, its weapons crushed, its defenses neutralized, but its residential and civilian areas untouched. Clear to proceed with Phase 2, Russo announced. Target all military infrastructure. Leave everything else standing. The Guardian Fleet's weapons spoke again, this time with devastating purpose. Gravitational forces tore through hardened bunkers and ammunition depots. Quantum phase beams erased weapon factories from existence. Barracks and training grounds were precisely crushed into scrap metal. When they finished, the Varadi military base on Proxima 7 had been surgically removed, while nearby civilian structures stood untouched. Not a single life had been lost. Send the final message, Russo ordered. Throughout the remaining Varadi bases across the sector, commanders received the same transmission. Quantum encrypted footage of what had happened at Proxima 7, along with a simple message. You attacked a hospital ship. You murdered healers. You believe this showed strength. We have just demonstrated true strength, the power to destroy everything, coupled with the discipline to destroy only what we must. This base was the first. Others will follow until justice is served. The choice of how many must fall is yours. As the Guardian Fleet prepared to return to quantum phase, Russo received a priority transmission from Earth Command. Similar operations had been carried out simultaneously at 3 other Varadi bases. In each case, not a single casualty. Just the complete and precise elimination of military capability. Phase 3 authorized, the message read. Proceed to primary Varadi fleet staging area. Let them see what they've awakened. Russo smiled grimly as the quantum chamber began to pulse again. The Varadi had attacked a hospital ship, expecting humanity to respond with words. Instead, they were about to face the full technological might of a civilization that had spent generations preparing for this moment. All ships, prepare for quantum phase transition, he ordered. The real demonstration of power is about to begin. High Admiral Krasthula of the Varadi Empire stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion, as his armada of 300 warships emerged from hyperspace near Saturn. The gas giant's rings glittered before them, and beyond it lay their target, Earth. The humans had humiliated the Empire with their precision strikes. Now they would learn the price of defiance. Full tactical display, he ordered, his cybernetic eyes scanning the battlefield. Where is this supposed Guardian fleet? No signs of human vessels, High Admiral, his sensor officer reported. Their planetary defenses appear minimal. Perhaps they exhausted their new technology in the earlier attacks. Krasthul's scales rippled with anticipation. Deploy the fleet in attack formation. Wield it. Energy spike. The sensor officer suddenly shouted. Massive distortions in local space-time. The space around Saturn's rings began to twist and fold. Reality itself seemed to tear open as 50 black ships emerged from quantum phase, their hulls drinking in light. They were arranged in a perfect sphere around the Verati Armada, led by the massive U.S. Nemesis. Admiral Katarina Shaw stood on the Nemesis's quantum bridge, her ceremonial sword, a reminder of Earth's martial traditions, hanging at her side. After 20 years commanding humanity's hidden fleet from the shadows, she was finally leading them into open battle. All ships, combat formation Aegis, she ordered. Execute Operation Shattered Crown. The Guardian fleet moved with impossible precision, their quantum drives allowing them to shift position faster than the Verati targeting systems could track. The sphere of Earth ships began to rotate, creating a web of overlapping fields of fire. Joe nodded. Execute Phase 1. Show them what they're dealing with. The Guardian fleet's gravitational weapons activated simultaneously. Saturn's rings shuddered as precisely controlled gravitational forces reached out across space. 1/3 of the Verati fighters imploded instantly, crushed by forces their shields couldn't begin to resist. Impossible! Crosthall roared as his tactical display showed fighters disappearing by the dozens. Return fire. Full spread. The Verati Armada launched a massive barrage of plasma torpedoes and quantum missiles. The weapons streaked across space toward the Earth ships, and then simply ceased to exist as localized space-time distortions erased them from reality. Phase 2, Zhou commanded. Target their propulsion systems. Precision strikes only. The Guardian fleet's quantum phase beams lanced out, passing through the Verati vessel's shields as if they didn't exist. Engines died across the enemy fleet as vital components were selectively removed from normal space-time. How? Crosthall demanded as his flagship's engines went dark. How do they have this level of technology? On the Nemesis, Captain Mendoza reported, 40% of enemy fleet immobilized. They're attempting to adapt their shields. They can try, Zhou said grimly. Lieutenant Commander Patel, show them our full capabilities. Execute Phase 3. The quantum drive crystals throughout the Guardian fleet pulsed with blinding energy. Space itself began to fold around individual Earth ships, allowing them to seemingly teleport between points in normal space. To the Verati, it appeared as if they were fighting an enemy that could be everywhere at once. We're being surrounded. Crosthall's tactical officer screamed as Earth ships appeared inside their formation, striking with surgical precision before vanishing again. Zhou watched the battle unfold with cold satisfaction. Status of enemy fleet? 70% immobilized, Mendoza reported. No casualties on either side. Their weapons are targeting blindly now. They can't track our quantum shifts. Open a channel to their flagship. The main display showed Crosthall, his scales now pale with fear. Before he could speak, Zhou addressed him in perfect Verati. You attacked a hospital ship. You murdered healers. You thought this proved your strength. Now you face the consequences of that choice. She drew her sword, not for combat, but for ceremony, the ancient gesture carrying weight even across species. Your fleet is dead in space. Your weapons cannot touch us. Your most advanced technology is centuries behind what we have kept hidden. You have two choices, immediate surrender, or we demonstrate what our weapons can do when we stop being precise. To emphasize her point, the Guardian fleet ship shifted position again, their quantum drives creating a lattice of distorted space around the Verati Armada. The message was clear. They could destroy the entire fleet with a single command. Crosthall's voice shook as he responded, the Verati Empire surrenders. A wise choice, Zhou replied. Prepare to be boarded. Your crews will be treated well. We are not like you. We do not murder the defenseless. As Earth shuttles began securing the Verati vessels, Zhou received a transmission from General Martinez on Earth. The Verati government is requesting emergency negotiations. Their entire military leadership has been removed in a coup. It seems watching their strongest fleet helpless against our technology has sparked some political changes. Zhou smiled slightly. Send them our terms. Full reparations for the Mercy's promise. trial for those responsible, and a complete ban on attacking medical vessels, enforced by our fleet. She looked out at the disabled Verati Armada, their mighty ships now floating helpless among Saturn's rings. They wanted to teach us about strength. Instead, we taught them about justice. The Battle of Saturn's Rings, as it would come to be known, lasted less than 30 minutes. Not a single life was lost, but its impact would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. Earth's mask of peaceful healers had been pulled aside, revealing the steel beneath, and the wisdom to know when to use it. Verati vessels powering weapons, reported Captain Luis Mendoza from Tactical. They're launching fighters. Joe nodded. Execute Phase 1. Show them what they're dealing with. The Guardian fleet's gravitational weapons activated simultaneously. Saturn's rings shuddered as precisely controlled gravitational forces reached out across space. One-third of the Verati fighters imploded instantly, crushed by forces their shields couldn't begin to resist. Impossible! Crossthull roared as his tactical display showed fighters disappearing by the dozens. Return fire. Full spread. The Verati Armada launched a massive barrage of plasma torpedoes and quantum missiles. The weapons streaked across space toward the Earth ships, and then simply ceased to exist as localized space-time distortions erased them from reality. Phase 2, Joe commanded. Target their propulsion systems. Precision strikes only. The Guardian fleet's quantum phase beams lanced out, passing through the Verati vessel's shields as if they didn't exist. Engines died across the enemy fleet as vital components were selectively removed from normal space-time. How? Crossthull demanded as his flagship's engines went dark. How do they have this level of technology? On the Nemesis, Captain Mendoza reported, 40% of enemy fleet immobilized. They're attempting to adapt their shields. They can try, Joe said grimly. Lieutenant Commander Patel, show them our full capabilities. Execute Phase 3. The quantum drive crystals throughout the Guardian fleet pulsed with blinding energy. Space itself began to fold around individual Earth ships, allowing them to seemingly teleport between points in normal space. To the Verati, it appeared as if they were fighting an enemy that could be everywhere at once. We're being surrounded. Crossthull's tactical officer screamed as Earth ships appeared inside their formation, striking with surgical precision before vanishing again. Joe watched the battle unfold with cold satisfaction. Status of enemy fleet? 70% immobilized, Mendoza reported. No casualties on either side. Their weapons are targeting blindly now. They can't track our quantum shifts. Open a channel to their flagship. The main display showed Crossthull, his scales now pale with fear. Before he could speak, Joe addressed him in perfect Verati. You attacked a hospital ship. You murdered healers. You thought this proved your strength. Now you face the consequences of that choice. She drew her sword, not for combat but for ceremony, the ancient gesture carrying weight even across species. Your fleet is dead in space. Your weapons cannot touch us. Your most advanced technology is centuries behind what we have kept hidden. You have two choices, immediate surrender, or we demonstrate what our weapons can do when we stop being precise. To emphasize her point, the Guardian fleet's ships shifted position again, their quantum drives creating a lattice of distorted space around the Verati Armada. The message was clear. They could destroy the entire fleet with a single command. Crossthull's voice shook as he responded, the Verati Empire surrenders. A wise choice, Joe replied. Prepare to be boarded. Your crews will be treated well. We are not like you. We do not murder the defenseless. As Earth shuttles began securing the Verati vessels, Joe received a transmission from General Martinez on Earth. The Verati government is requesting emergency negotiations. Their entire military leadership has been removed in a coup. It seems watching their strongest fleet helpless against our technology has sparked some political changes. Joe smiled slightly. Send them our terms. Full reparations for the Mercy's promise, trial for those responsible, and a complete ban on attacking medical vessels, enforced by our fleet. She looked out at the disabled Verati Armada, their mighty ships now floating helpless among Saturn's rings. They wanted to teach us about strength. Instead, we taught them about justice. The Battle of Saturn's Rings, as it would come to be known, lasted less than 30 minutes. Not a single life was lost, but its impact would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity forever. Earth's mask of peaceful healers had been pulled aside, revealing the steel beneath, and the wisdom to know when to use it. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council on Europa Station fell silent as the massive doors swung open. Former High Admiral Crosthall of the Virati Empire entered in chains, flanked by Earth security officers. His once proud scales had dulled, his cybernetic enhancements deactivated. Behind him came 6 other Virati military commanders, all who had participated in planning the attack on the Mercy's Promise. Dr. Rashid Rahman watched from the witness stand, his hoverchair now unnecessary after months of recovery. Beside him sat Captain Josephine Park, one of the few survivors who had agreed to testify. In the audience, representatives from over 50 spacefaring civilizations filled the observation galleries. Chief Justice Xavier Okafor of the Galactic Tribunal, a tall Nigerian man with gray-streaked hair, activated the quantum-enhanced recording systems. This tribunal is now in session. We are here to judge crimes against galactic law, specifically the attack on the medical vessel UNHS Mercy's Promise. In the Earth Delegations section, General Diana Martinez sat with Admiral Katarina Zhou. Their presence represented both justice and power, a reminder of humanity's newly revealed dual nature. The prosecution may begin, Okafor announced. Ambassador Neela Patel stood, her traditional Indian formal wear complemented by subtle technological enhancements. The evidence is irrefutable, she began. The attack on the Mercy's Promise was not an isolated incident, but part of a systematic campaign to destroy medical vessels throughout the galaxy. The holographic display activated, showing recovered data from Virati command ships. The Virati Empire, under High Admiral Crosthall's direction, deliberately targeted humanitarian vessels, believing that Mercy was a weakness to be eliminated from the galaxy. As the evidence mounted, many in the chamber wept openly. The prosecution showed not just the attack on the Mercy's Promise, but dozens of similar attacks on smaller civilizations' medical ships. The Virati had been waging a secret war against the very concept of compassion. When Dr. Rahman testified about his escape and the deaths of his colleagues, his voice remained steady. They didn't just attack a ship, he said. They attacked the idea that helping others is valuable. They tried to murder Mercy itself. Crosthall finally spoke during his defense. The strong survive, he declared. Mercy weakens the species. We sought to strengthen the galaxy by murdering doctors? Captain Park interrupted, her voice cutting through the chamber. By killing nurses who treated your own people alongside everyone else. That's not strength. That's cowardice. The trial lasted 7 days. The verdict was unanimous, guilty on all counts. The sentence, life imprisonment in a unique facility, a hospital orbiting a distant star, where the convicted would spend their remaining years treating the sick and injured under strict supervision. As the prisoners were led away, Ambassador Patel addressed the council. Today marks a new chapter in galactic history, she said. Earth proposes the formation of the Galactic Medical Corps, a fleet of hospital ships protected by our Guardian Fleet vessels. No civilization should fear sending healers to help others. The council chamber erupted in discussion. Earth's proposal was revolutionary, combining their advanced medical knowledge with their newly revealed military power to ensure that no hospital ship would ever be attacked again. 6 months later, Ambassador Patel stood in Earth's orbital shipyard, watching as the final touches were added to a new vessel. The UNHS Promise Renewed gleamed in the sunlight, its white hull marked with the traditional red cross and a small dove symbol. Below these markings was a subtle reminder of its protection, the quantum-enhanced shield generator signature of a Guardian Fleet escort. Beautiful ship, said Commander Dante Russo, now in charge of the vessel's escort detail. Though I admit, it's strange seeing a hospital ship with quantum phase technology. A new era requires new approaches, Patel replied. The Promise Renewed carries enough medical supplies to treat 1 million patients. And with Guardian Fleet technology, it can reach any crisis point in the galaxy within days. They watched as Dr. Ramon, now the ship's chief medical officer, supervised the loading of supplies. The new Galactic Medical Corps had already attracted thousands of volunteers from dozens of species, including, surprisingly, some Verati medical personnel who had opposed their military's actions. In her office beneath the Mariana Trench, General Martinez reviewed the latest reports. The galaxy had changed dramatically in the months since the Verati surrender. Earth's revelation of its true technological capabilities had sparked fear at first, but their restraint in victory had earned respect. The first joint medical mission launches tomorrow, Admiral Zhou reported, standing by the window where deep-sea creatures cast their bioluminescent light. A human hospital ship, escorted by Guardian Fleet vessels, carrying doctors from 12 different species to help a colony world suffering from a pandemic. Martinez nodded. And the Verati? Their new government has completely restructured their society. They're actually requesting to join the Medical Corps, trying to atone for their past actions. On the Promise Renewed's bridge, Captain Park specifically requested to command this new vessel, prepared for launch. Around her, a crew representing the best of multiple species worked together, protected by humanity's hidden strength now revealed. All systems ready, Captain, reported her new XO, a young Centaurian named ZYX. Medical bays report fully staffed and equipped. Park smiled, remembering her lost crew from the Mercy's Promise. They had died showing compassion to the galaxy. Now their legacy would live on in a new fleet of hospital ships, protected by the very power Earth had hidden for so long. Take us out, she ordered. There are people who need healing. As the Promise Renewed lifted from Earth's orbit, escorted by 2 sleek Guardian Fleet vessels, it carried more than medical supplies and personnel. It carried a message to the galaxy. Humanity's mercy had never been a weakness. It had always been a choice, one now backed by the power to ensure it would never be mistaken for weakness again. The age of hidden strength was over. The age of protected compassion had begun.